Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the sound of your own breath. Now ask yourself, what if the silence you fear is the very portal to your awakening? There comes a time when life no longer makes sense in the ways it once did. When success feels hollow, when the noise of the world grows unbearable, and your soul begins to whisper, softly at first, that there must be something more, not more things, not more goals, but more truth, more stillness, more you. This is not a breakdown, it is a breakthrough, the sacred unraveling. Perhaps you found yourself here at the edge of letting go of who you were told to be, of what you were taught to chase, at the threshold where the old story can no longer carry the weight of your becoming. And in that quiet ache, in the stillness between breaths, something new begins. This is a journey back home to your essence, your power, your divine design. Napoleon Hill once said, "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit." But what he didn't always say, and what you may be feeling, is that the seed often feels like darkness, like confusion, like loss. What if I told you that this season of uncertainty is not a punishment, but a preparation, a divine recalibration? Quantum physics now confirms what ancient mystics always knew, that your inner frequency shapes your outer reality, that what you feel deeply, consistently, becomes the blueprint of what you live. You are not just a body moving through time. You are a field of consciousness, vibrating with possibility. So the question becomes not, what should I do? But rather, what am I resonating with? Your biology listens. Your cells respond. Your future is coded in the vibration you carry now. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual epigenetics. Your past, it doesn't define you unless you keep rehearsing it. Your pain doesn't imprison you unless you keep identifying with it. You are allowed to release, to unhook from the frequency of survival and step into the vibration of creation. And no, this doesn't mean bypassing your grief. It means honoring it so fully that it transforms. Feelings buried alive never die, but feelings held with love become wisdom. You've come this far not by accident, but by an ancient pull within you, a remembering of who you truly are beneath the roles, the wounds, the noise, a soul with purpose, a being of light, a creator of realities. So what if, just for today, you allowed yourself to trust this moment, not to escape it, not to fix it, but to feel it fully, to listen for what it's teaching, because beneath the ache is an invitation to come back to yourself, to come back to the stillness, to come back to now. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are in sacred transition. The cocoon doesn't look like flight, but it is. Breathe. The universe is not punishing you. It's purifying you, realigning you, because where you are headed cannot be reached by force, only by frequency. So today, choose your stillness over struggle, presence over pressure, surrender over strategy. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the breath inside you. Feel the divine remembering you, because you're not alone, and you never were. You are awakening. You were never meant to live numb. You were never meant to shrink yourself into silence, nor settle into a life that doesn't stir your soul. The ache you feel, that longing for something more, it's not a flaw, it's a compass. A signal that your soul is ready to expand beyond the limits of logic. And it starts not with answers, but with awareness. Begin here, not by fixing your life, but by feeling it, your breath, your heartbeat, your unspoken dreams, because within you is a current of life, of wisdom, of pure potential, waiting to be remembered. The teachings of Neville Goddard remind us, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He wasn't just talking about imagination, he was talking about embodiment. If you want to change your world, start by changing what you dwell in, not what you think about once in a while, but what you consistently feel. Emotion is the signal, vibration is the language, and your reality is always listening. So what are you broadcasting? Are your emotions aligned with the future you long for? Or are they echoing the wounds of your past? You see, your life doesn't shift by trying harder. It shifts when your energy shifts. Healing doesn't happen by force, it happens by resonance. That's why silence matters. That's why stillness is sacred, because only when you slow down can you hear the deeper guidance. Only when you get quiet can you feel the frequency you've been living in. And that is where change begins, not in fighting the old, but in creating space for the new. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. You need presence. You need permission to feel, to trust, to imagine again, because imagination, true embodied imagination, is creation. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs." Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. So what are you sending out? What silent stories are shaping your reality? Let today be a sacred pause, a return to your inner temple, a remembering that every feeling is a frequency, and every frequency creates. Let this be the moment you stop waiting and start vibrating, not for the world to change, but for your own resonance to rise. Because when you change your vibration, you change your life. Sometimes we confuse safety with stagnation. We mistake comfort for peace, when in truth our soul is slowly suffocating under the weight of the familiar. But the soul is wild. It longs to stretch, to feel, to evolve. And often that evolution looks like disruption. A relationship ends, a job loses its meaning, an old identity no longer fits. It's tempting to see these moments as losses. But what if they are invitations? Invitations to rise, to reinvent, to return to the truth of who you've always been. Greg Braden speaks of coherence, the harmony between heart and brain. And when you live in that space, when your inner world aligns, your outer world follows. You stop chasing, you start attracting, because coherence is a signal, and it draws to you all that matches its truth. So when your life starts to fall apart, maybe it's not breaking. Maybe it's synchronizing, realigning you with the rhythm of your own becoming. And in that space, something profound happens. You begin to hear the guidance that was always there. In the rustle of leaves, in the silence between thoughts, in the dreams that keep visiting you at 3 a.m. This is not imagination, it is intuition. It is your soul's voice, and it speaks not in commands, but in invitations. Come back to breath, to presence, to the unshakable truth that you are already enough. Let go of timelines. Let go of proving. Let go of the pressure to be more and allow yourself to be true. You are not a problem to solve. You are a masterpiece in motion. Soften into this. Let the old melt. Let the new rise, not by force, but by frequency, not by striving, but by surrender. Because what is meant for you is not held hostage by your past. It lives in your now. In every breath, every choice, every moment you return to yourself. And that return is the real miracle. We often believe we must earn our worth, achieve to be seen, fix ourselves to be loved. But what if the truth is this? You were never broken. You were simply buried beneath the noise. And now, piece by piece, the real you is emerging. Not the version the world demanded, but the version your soul has always known. Alan Watts said, "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone." So pause, not in defeat, but in devotion to your own becoming. The chaos you've walked through was not a detour, it was the alchemy, the heat required to soften the shell, to melt the masks. And now is the time to choose with intention, not from fear, but from alignment. Ask yourself, what future version of me is calling out? What energy does that version live in? And begin, gently, consistently, to live in that frequency now. This is not pretending. This is becoming. The path isn't always clear, but the next step is. It's the one that feels lighter, truer, more alive. And sometimes it's the step that looks like rest, like choosing peace, like forgiving the past, not because it was okay, but because you're ready to be free. You don't need another goal. You need a grounded presence, a sacred yes to the now, because the now is where all transformation begins. Feel it. The life that wants to bloom through you. The wisdom that's always been whispering, not in the noise, but in the stillness. This is your homecoming. This is your return to resonance. You've walked through shadows. You've questioned your worth. You've doubted your path more times than you can count. But here you are, still breathing, still becoming. And perhaps that's the real proof of your strength. Not the days you felt certain, but the ones you stayed open when everything inside you begged to shut down. There is power in your presence, not the curated version, but the raw, real, heartbroken, open version. Because the universe doesn't respond to perfection. It responds to resonance, to truth, to your yes, even when whispered through tears. Joe Dispenza teaches us where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So today, choose to place it here, on what's rising, on what's healing, on the future that's calling, not from logic, but from love. Let every moment become your meditation, not just the quiet ones, but the mundane ones, the painful ones, the ones where you forget who you are, and then remember, you are not here to chase alignment. You are here to live aligned, to breathe with reverence, to feel without apology, to create with intention, and most of all, to trust that even in your mess, there is meaning, that even in your doubt, there is divine design. So when the mind screams you're lost, let your soul whisper, you are being led. This is the rise before the rising. This is the ground of your becoming. You are not who you used to be, and thank God for that, because the world doesn't need a version of you that fits in. It needs the one that sets others free. Free to feel, free to heal, free to awaken. So let the story unfold. Let the mystery reveal. Let the sacred frequency of your becoming guide every step, because you are the miracle. This is not the end, this is your beginning, and it starts with a breath. If this message touched something in you, even just a little, help us share this frequency. Subscribe to our channel and send this video to someone who matters to you, because no one awakens alone. And the light you found here might be the light someone else has been waiting for. Thank you.